in the heart of a small African village called Umudo, where the sun kissed the earth with warmth and the wind whispered secrets through the tall baobab trees, lived a young girl named Amani. She was 14 years old and was raised by her mother, Mama Jalia, a strong, kind-hearted woman who upheld both traditional African values and Christian teachings. Mama Jalia had taught Amani that life was not about how much one owned, but about the goodness in one's heart. "My daughter," she would say, "kindness is like a seed planted everywhere, and you will see how beautifully it grows." Amani was bright and diligent, but school was not easy for her. One girl, Zuri, made life difficult for her. Zuri came from a wealthy family and saw Amani's humble background as something to mock. Every day she called Amani names, laughed at her simple clothes, and sometimes even hid her books. The other students laughed along with Zuri, fearing that they too would be targeted if they spoke against her. Despite the constant bullying, Amani refused to respond with anger or hatred. She would remember her mother's words and turn the other cheek. Some days, she would go home in tears, but she prayed for strength and wisdom, trusting that God had a plan for her. One fateful day, Zuri was walking along the school corridor, carrying a large stack of books. She was too distracted by her laughter and boasting to notice the small stone on the ground. She tripped and fell down the stairs, her books scattering across the dusty floor. The students nearby burst into laughter. Amani had the perfect opportunity to mock Zuri in return. After all, wasn't this the justice she deserved? But instead, Amani knelt beside Zuri, gathered her books, and extended a hand to help her up. Zuri was stunned. "Why are you helping me after everything I have done to you?" she asked. Amani smiled gently and said, "Because kindness is a choice, and I choose it." That day, something in Zuri's heart changed. She realized how cruel she had been and how much strength Amani possessed. From then on, she stopped bullying others and even became friends with Amani. The teachers, who had been watching Amani's patience and humility, were deeply moved by her actions. When it was time to choose the next head girl of the school, they unanimously voted for Amani. Her story of resilience and kindness had inspired the entire school. Standing before her fellow students on the day of her appointment, Amani said, "True strength is not in hurting others, but in lifting them up. We must all choose kindness, even when it is hard." From that day on, Amani's story was told not just in her school, but throughout the village. She became a symbol of strength, compassion, and the power of choosing good over evil. And as the elders in Umudo often said, "A kind heart is the strongest shield one can ever wear."